Hey everyone, today I'm going to be making I guess my famous Conecuh sausage chili. I want to show you what all I'm going to be using. I've got a thing of frozen ground beef here. It's 1.3 pounds. I always buy extra and keep for whatever. It's easy to throw in a pot and brown it. I've got my chili powder, my Tabasco chili starter. I've got 2 jars of this. This is original. They have a spicy or a hot, or I can't remember exactly what it is. This is really good. I usually get it at Walmart. I hate going to that place, but it's about the only place I can get it anymore. And I've got 2 of the larger cans of the chili beans. I use Bush's. You can use whatever brand that you prefer. You can use store brand, it doesn't matter. I'm going to use a can of the diced tomatoes with the peppers and onions, and then I'm going to use one of the larger cans. It's like a 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. And I've got my salt, my garlic powder, minced onions. I may not be using these. I've got my crushed red pepper flakes, and I've got my Tony's Creole seasoning. I've got 2 pounds of Conecuh sausage that I've cut up, and it's just in little slices like that. And this is the package. This is my go-to sausage. I love this sausage. A lot of people call it Conecuh or Conecuh. It's actually Conecuh. It's made in Evergreen, Alabama, which is in Conecuh County, Alabama, just up the interstate from where my family lives. And I had probably half an onion that I didn't use last night, so I just sliced it and threw it in the freezer. So I pulled it out and I did a rough chop on it. So it's like a medium onion. I'm going to use that, and I'm going to put the ground beef in here with that to give it some flavor. So that's why I said I might not be using my minced onion flakes, because the onion I have and the can of tomatoes has the onions in it, and I think there's a little bit of onion in here. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the stove on to about a medium-high heat. I don't want to get it too hot since the hamburger meat's frozen. And I'm going to brown this, and I'm also going to brown my sausage. So I'm going to stick it in separate pot over here to the side, medium-high heat as well. I'm just going to pray these don't go flying all over the kitchen here. And this sausage does have a lot of fat in it, so once it's done browning, we're going to take it up and put it on a plate with paper towels to drain what we can off of it, and then we'll incorporate it. So I'm going to brown this and we'll go from there. Okay, so my sausage is browned, if you want to take a look at it, and I want you to see all that grease that comes out of it. I'm going to take that up in just a moment and put it on this pan. But right now I want you to see my hamburger meat's done, with the onions in there. And I use the 90-10 hamburger meat, so there's very little fat in here. So if I was to drain it, I really wouldn't be doing anything but wasting a colander, dirtying up a colander. So now I'm going to start adding everything. I'm going to turn it down to medium because it's going to start to bubble and fizz or pop. So I'm going to add the first jar. Probably should have opened these ahead of time. The second jar. I'm going to add my can of tomatoes and just give this a little stir. Now I'm going to add my crushed tomatoes and try to get as much out of there as you can. It's a pretty large can. And I'm going to add both cans of the chili beans. Sometimes they come out real easy, other times not so much. And I don't drain these. Some people like to drain their chili beans. I don't. I think it gives it added flavor, because then you're gonna have to add more seasonings to it. So you can see it's kind of thick. So what we want to do is loosen that up. So I have some hot water here in a measuring cup. So I'm just gonna swish that around in here. You want to get all this in the bottom. Same with the other jar. And this is a 2 cup, and I had about 2 cups in there. Okay, so you see the water's sitting on the top, but the longer it cooks, it's going to thicken up some. Plus we still have to add the sausage. So I'm going to keep that on medium heat for now and take up this sausage. Okay, so I've got my sausage sitting here, and what I'll do is take a couple paper towels or a paper towel and just kind of blot the excess grease that's on the top layer. And you can see it does have a lot of grease. I mean, it is pork, so. Okay, so now we're ready to add our spices. So I'm going to start with my chili powder. This isn't normally what I buy, and I can't remember. I think it's the Tony's that I normally buy, but no one had it. So I ended up with this Deep South brand, and it's the dark chili powder. And it's not quite as good as what I normally buy. So I'm just going to sprinkle some on here. And it does look like quite a bit. But to me that's not. And you add this according to how spicy you want the chili. And then I'm going to add some garlic. And I'm going to leave these to show you about how much I'm adding. I'm not going to add any of the minced onions because I think we have enough onion flavor. And then I add my Tony's, if I can get it open. And you know, you add as much or as little as you want of this. Depends on how spicy you like it. I like spicy chili. My husband not so much. My daughter likes spicy chili, not too spicy. And then the red pepper flakes, just a few sprinkles on there. You don't want it too spicy. Sometimes if I have it, I'll add cayenne pepper, which I'm actually out of, and I want to add some black pepper as well. I forgot about that. Just as little or as much as you want. You know, it's however much you like it, however much pepper flavor that you prefer. And it's easier to use the whisk because you can get that stirred in, and you can see it's actually darkened up a little bit since I put that chili powder in. And it also thickens up. So I want to add, I got about just under a cup of water. I'm going to add most of it here just to see what I've got. Okay. Now I'm going to add my sausage. And don't just plop it down because you'll have chili spluttering everywhere. You can use tongs if you like. Your hands just as good. So I'm gonna add all this chili, and I'm gonna see how thick it ends up being. Not chili, I'm sorry. Sausage. I'm gonna stir it in, or whisk it in, I should say. Whoops. And see, it's thickened up. I'm gonna add the rest of this water, and I may add a little more in just a little bit just to see. I'll come back and see how it's doing. And I'm making a mess everywhere. So I've got it on medium heat, and I'm gonna go ahead and cover it up. And I do want to show you, this is an old pot, so sorry for the ugliness, but that's the grease that's left over from the sausage. That's why you want to drain your sausage. You don't want to consume all that grease. It's bad enough that you're consuming the sausage with all the grease that's left in there. So I'm going to let this simmer for about 15 minutes, and then we'll check on it and see how it's looking. Okay, so it's been nearly 15 minutes. I'm going to check on this. And this is looking good. It's bubbling around here. I think it's at a good consistency. I did test it a few minutes ago, and I did not need to add any salt whatsoever because the sausage has salt in it. The Tony's seasoning has salt in it, so and I'm sure the Tabasco starter stuff has salt in it too. So I always wait to the last after I've got everything together before, and I taste it to see if it's if it needs any salt, and it does not. And I did stir this a couple times with my whisk to make sure it didn't stick to the bottom. So I think we're ready to eat. You can top it with whatever you want. I know my family likes to put Fritos in there and cheese. I like to add a little bit of sour cream. Cornbread is good with it. So I just hope you enjoy it. And again, the Tabasco starter jars is what you need to make this. And I get it at Walmart. Publix used to carry it, but they don't anymore. And it is cheaper at Walmart. I use the Bush's baked beans, and I use Conecuh sausage, and I use the 90-10 lean ground beef. I use that for everything. I just try to keep the fat down as much as possible, and I know with the sausage it's kind of hard to do that, but if you can your own tomatoes, that would be even better. I don't have any. I use them in another dish just recently, and I do put onion and bell pepper in mine. But I hope you enjoy it. My husband likes the chili, and he used to not eat chili, so I think it must be pretty good if he does that, and my kids also. So thank you, and I hope you enjoy.